This is how I make a $300 princess hat order. So first I start by selecting my fabric. This client asked for baby pink, so that's what I've got here. And I'm going to be tracing my pattern over it. And I've made this pattern myself. It's about 18 inches tall and 22 inches wide. So I'm just going to cut that out, and I'm going to cut out two pieces, an inner and outer layer, and also a piece of interfacing that is the same as this pattern but does not have the seam allowance. Next, I'm going to iron the inner and outer fabric to the interfacing. The interfacing is also known as stabilizer. If you need to look that up, it's 926 heavy stabilizer. So I'm going to pin it to the interfacing, both layers, and then sew all around the perimeter so that it's all attached. So next I'll be trimming the sides and turning it inside out. A lot of people ask frequently how I make my cones, so I thought this would be a really great time to explain that. My cones do not include any cardboard or glue, as you might see in a regular hennin tutorial, and I feel like that makes them a little bit higher quality. You guys will have to forgive me because I forgot to film a clip of the wooden dowel for this pink hennin, but I have this one from a different project. So what I do is I take a 3/4 inch wooden dowel and I pat it at the bottom so it's comfortable against the back of your head, and then I cover it in the same fabric as the lining fabric, and then I sew it into the back seam of the hennin, and that's what keeps it upright. Basically, the dowel is braced between the back of your head and the point of the hennin, and that way it keeps it nice and sturdily upright, and also that makes it so that the hennin can actually support a fair bit of weight when it comes to attaching the veil. Next, I sew in the liner. This covers up the wooden dowel and I think makes it look a lot prettier inside. So back to the pink hennin. At this point, I'm going to start attaching the lowermost trim to the bottom of the hennin. This client asked for it to not overhang over the bottom of the hennin at all, so I was careful to attach it in that very specific way, and I'm going to hand sew it on just like I will for all of the decorations. She sent me a Pinterest board with a lot of coquette images and said that I could use that as inspiration to kind of design it and decorate it the way that I see fit. So I'm going to be adding a lot of white lace and pink roses and all manner of things that kind of match her vision. She paid to have a little bit of an upgrade and some customization, so she asked for me to add a lace veil instead of the normal chiffon veil that I normally would add, and I'm doing a little bit more of expensive lace for all of the trim. And she also asked for a spiral design to go up the hennin, which is something I haven't done before, but I think it looks like so classically like princess hat, so I thought that that was a really beautiful detail. And I think in the future I am going to do a lot more spiral princess hats because I just ended up thinking they're so beautiful. Let me know in the comments if that's something that you think would be a good idea or something you would purchase yourself. Here I am draping the veil. She asked for a 50-inch veil, which is longer than what I normally do, but I guess she wanted it to kind of billow in the wind a little bit more. And I'm going to be attaching that with a back stitch all around the peak of the hennin. Lastly, I'm going to be attaching this little bow. I think it adds some movement to the veil and a little pop of color, so I'm just going to be adding that to the peak of the hennin with a whip stitch.